Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
And welcome back to the Vic Akers Wonderland Podcast. Sockgate and Shambles, here we go. As always, I am joined by my two co-conspirators, and that is Adam and Matt. Matt, how are you?
Very, very tired, and I'm not looking forward to this one. Let's just say that.
I think that's why we delayed it, apart from the fact that I've been very ill, but hey-ho. Adam, and how are you, sir?
Mixed on this one. I've sort of been looking forward to it in a way because I think it's going to be a good chance to sort of release some of the frustrations we may have had after the game. But at the same time, I'm glad we put it off a bit because I think if we'd done the recording a bit earlier, we may have said some things we might regret. So hopefully we can be a bit measured also in our breakdown on this.
Oh no, absolutely. I know I had problems before I even stepped into Stamford Bridge itself. But hey, let's not go there. So I got a little bit of an icebreaker. I thought it was a bit funny. What is the worst pair of socks you've ever received, boys?
I must admit, I stitched myself up here because we couldn't think of one. I suggested it and I realised I didn't actually have an answer for this. I'm trying to think of are there any socks that I have avoided wearing? I've never received any if I'd received maybe some Spurs ones maybe, but I've never had one of those, so I can't really attest to it. There's definitely been I think for me the frustration with socks, I'll change the question. My frustration with socks is I do a lot of lodging away, and my fear is coming back with one sock. That has always been my that has been my big fit. And so the worst kind of sock is the worst sock then would be when you've only got one sock and there's an odd sock somewhere. You don't know if it's in the washing pile, you don't know if it's in the washing machine, or you don't know if it's in the hotel you were staying at last week.
My biggest pet peeve. You put them in together and only one comes out.
Or
and you look for the other one and it's still in the basket.
Or the worst one is because I always do the check under the bed and check under the chairs and everything before I leave, and it's when you find someone else's sock under there, and that's that raises more questions than answers.
Absolutely, Matt.
You just got me thinking. Actually, I've recently got some new football socks for training, and one of them has just started to slowly get scuffed. So it's just. You pay so much for these socks, then they're not expensive as Arsenal's. Let's put it that way, but you're expecting a high level quality product and to last for a while. And it's one of the worst ones that I can think of is that socks that just like loose wear and tear, and then like you're on that final thread, and it's just like no point in wearing it because you're gonna get holes.
The thing is as a kid, is when you're wearing socks and your foot can go straight through them. And then your parents are like, Adam, you need to get these pair of socks. No, these are fine. It's like, I can see the sole. I can see the skin.
Yeah.
And they're your favourite pair, and they're one of your favourite pairs as well.
They must be discarded.
No,
as soon as they get that, then
they're my Sunday socks. No, I think the worst pair I've ever had is the one I don't know where the hell they came from, but it's them socks that go around the individual toes. And it's this is nasty. No, never wore them. They stayed in my drawer and I kind of ditched them a few years ago. But enough about feet, enough about socks.
I was just going to say, very classic. I wanted to say, favourite pair, I had a Statler and Wardorf pair and I loved them to bits. The two hecklers in the Muppets. Loved it to bits. So, and as someone who heckles all the time, I am fully the Statler and Wardorf camp.
For some reason, all I've got in my head is Elmo.
No, it's not Elmo. No, it's the two old guys in the box.
Yeah, I know who they are. They were Ebenezer Scrooge's friends in the
Marley
Christmas
and
Carol.
Marley.
That's it. Anyway, enough about the Muppets. Enough about Sesame Street. Enough about socks. Let's get back to the Arsenal.
We are going to be talking about some Muppets, just a different kind of Muppets.
Oh yeah, of course. The latest in the Arsenal news, we've got tickets for the final home game of the season at Meadow Park go on sale on Wednesday, the 27th of March. at 2 p.m. on the Arsenal website. Obviously, the link will go through to Bournemouth. Be prepared for a website crash because that website can't cope with it. Bristol City, the fixture has now been rearranged at Meadow Park for the 14th of April with a 6:45 p.m. kickoff UK time. Also, we've got Leicester City kickoff time on 21st of April is now confirmed as 2 p.m. It will be streamed on the FA Player, so it's a reasonable time for all of us. Not too early, not too late. Love a 2 p.m. kickoff. And I'm currently being laughed at. Why?
I just think it's mad that a game that's being hosted at Emirates Stadium is being dumped onto the FA Player. They did it for the Liverpool game at the start of the season.
Mhm.
I just find that mad that it's the. Anyway, we'll move on. But I just find it bonkers.
Doesn't make sense. But
it doesn't make sense.
So
my
I
mind's
think the main.
with it. So it's like, yeah.
I just think the main reason for it is because the fact that potentially because of the result we're going to be talking about has actually played a huge part in what
fairness,
they were thinking. There's
nothing for us, is there? There's no reason to film our games on the TV because there's obviously a few left handed, but technically, as we're going to go into there are no stakes on for us at the moment, WSL wise. So I do sympathise that. And then when we're there all season, when we're there every game of the season, they can't televise all the games, can they? So yeah, maybe it's the normality we're heading towards.
Yeah, no, it's you've also got to look and keep it balanced and fair. But to be honest with you, we're not in the titles race anymore, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
It's not like the big Sky Sports channels host the Conti Cup. They don't. That goes to the BBC, I believe. Matt, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. The Conti Cup gets shared around a lot by the FA Player, and then eventually the final gets involved. Just a little bit on the League Cup, the FA National League Cup. So #United versus Newcastle United is going to be this Saturday at Kenilworth Road. That's going to be shown on the iPlayer, which I'm looking forward to as well because it's #United versus Newcastle United.
Game.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, can't think of two completely differently run clubs. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
No, definitely. The final piece of news is that Arsenal finally followed Chelsea in their footsteps in providing free coach travel from the Emirates at 9:15 a.m. on Easter Sunday due to no trains leaving Euston on that day. If you need any more details, just drop Adam a message on Twitter. I'm sure he'll follow you, and he works for the train companies.
No, that is a gross misinformation, fake news. That is not. Yes, I do work on. I will bite, but I want to get this. I do work in the rail industry, but I do not have inside knowledge into train delays. That's not. Yes, I'm working around Bletchley, but that's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with the train cancellations that are happening. And I do not want, I don't get DMs anyway, but I don't want hate DMs blaming me for not being able to get a train to morning.
No,
I'm going to be there.
No, exactly. You're going to be with us. So, listen, guys, I've got to be honest with you. I was only winding him up and he touched on that wonderfully. But yeah, there's back to the coaches from Arsenal. They followed their footsteps with Chelsea because there's no trains from Euston. There is limited availability, so book your seat as soon as possible. Or you can do what I've done and organise a carpool up to Wolverhampton with you and your mates. Be a couple of hours drive, but what's more entertaining than sitting in the car with your mates?
I must admit, though, the uptake on the coach has been pretty impressive. I think it's two coaches now or something they're on?
The supporters club have got 2 coaches, so Arsenal put on an additional coach. That's 3 coaches. So you're talking about over 200 people on those coaches.
Are they going from Emirates Stadium or are they going from South Limb Services?
The Arsenal ones are going from the Emirates Stadium at 9:15 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know where the supporters ones are going from.
That is so impressive, and I hope it's a precedent for future away trips. But who knows?
It's a case of getting our fans there, and the fact that Chelsea took that initiative first, it was actually a bit surprising, but good on them.
Man United have done something similar as well. Man United have got away buses as well. Quite a few. There was Liverpool as well. We've held back as well for a while doing. I have raised this in chats and it's been discussed with Arsenal. But the question is so many people put the names forward, they get the coach, and then the people don't go, and it's like, well, hang on, guys. I think that's what it used to be in the past, and I think maybe now it's starting. Well, we saw at Chelsea, the away support has grown considerably enough that maybe there's a market for it now.
No, absolutely. On a little side note of international news, the Olympic group draws are confirmed for Paris 2024. So in Group A, we've got France, Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand. Group B, we've got USA, Zambia, or Morocco. Germany, Australia. Group C,
Ooh.
Spain, Japan, Nigeria, or South Africa, Brazil. The final round of the qualifiers for the African nations takes place next month in the Confederation of African Football Olympic qualifying tournaments, which will be contested on the 1st and 9th of April. Nigeria are currently aiming to make the Olympics for the third time, while Zambia and South Africa look to make their second entrance to the Olympics. However, Morocco are looking to make their history again after last year's World Cup by entering the Olympics for the first time.
That'd be pretty cool. What in the football Olympics or the Olympics in general?
No, the football. We're talking about the women's football.
All right, sorry. Just yes. That'd be. I think that'd be good. That'd be great. The rise of Morocco continues. We did fall in love with them at the World Cup.
Unfortunately, they've got a wrong one at the wheel.
But I want to say the group that interested me, Germany and the USA and the Matildas are all in the same group. Is that right?
Yeah. Would we name this group the group of death? Yep.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it works out as the third best placed teams go through as well, because there's 3 groups instead of 4.
But
this is one of the things that a lot of people have been asking about, is that they should actually be opening it up from 12.
Should be 4 groups.
12 to 16 is what they should do. So then it's 2, 2, and 2, and then they don't have to worry about that. But it's weird because the men's have those 12 spots, but the women's only have the not is it not 9? No, sorry, not the 12. They look, they're 20. They're 16.
The men have 4. The men have 4 groups, and the women only have 3. And that needs expanding.
Doesn't make sense.
Who was in Spain?
Do we think that's due to the growth of the game and people needing to invest?
The growth of the game has overtaken the Olympics, but it's always a bit weird because the Olympics for the women is a bigger thing than the Olympics for the men.
Yeah,
it's kind of the wrong way around. So maybe in the future they'll expand it. I do hope they do, because it would have been nice to see Team GB at the Olympics, even though the rest is very much needed. Who was in Spain's group?
With the Spain group, we have got Japan, Nigeria, or South Africa, or Brazil.
Okay, Brazil against Spain. That will be that'll be fun.
Well, hopefully
it'd be interesting to see, because obviously there's going to be no Marta this year for Brazil.
No,
she's finally stepped down, which is just devastating for most people.
And
they did pretty well in the CONCACAF without her, so I think they're going to be okay.
And Spain continue to get better and better with every tournament. They won the Nations League, won the World Cup. They'll be looking to win that Olympics.
No, absolutely. Let's wait and see. The USA are back in town with Emma Hayes, so we'll see.
Well, let's hope they finish stone dead last, but we can only dream. We can only wish ill upon Hayes and co. I'm not petty about this at all.
Oh, you're so not petty. But yeah, back to what we're really here for. Sockgate and Shambles. Chelsea 3, Arsenal 0. Location,
1.
Stamford Bridge.
Don't airbrush our goal, Lottie. I know it was a rubbish game, but we did score 1 goal.
No, we didn't.
We did, right at the end.
It wasn't given to Kimmy. Let's just not go there for this moment. I think my main gripe with this whole thing is this Sockgate game delay due to incorrect kit brought to the bridge by the Arsenal. Like the last few years, if you still follow the men, you'll know they wear red socks on match day. I think what annoyed me more is when you watch the game on Sunday that was at the bridge, Leicester were more or less in the same blue as Chelsea. So what's the difference?
It is a nonsense. I understand the importance of kit clashes because for obvious reasons, and obviously colour blindness comes into this as well. There's obviously reasons why certain kits get played at certain times. I mean, I was listening to this on the radio. I thought that maybe Arsenal rocked up in their Stella McCartney away special, and that was somehow causing the conflict. I didn't have the pictures in front of me. It is shambolic. Wasn't the only shambles on the day, but we'll get to that. But it is shambolic, and I think it was human error. There's a system that automatically works out where the clashes are. I think so. They get the right kit, and for whatever reason, it fell over on the socks. I think it's our socks were white with like a red stripe up the side, and obviously Chelsea
lightning
bolt. Yeah, there you go, lightning bolt. We should have played in full red socks, obviously, on the day, and we ended up in the embarrassing situation of having to buy socks from their gift shop. I mean, just imagine that if we reverse it, like Una reverse it, imagine, let's say, being at Emirates Stadium, You've gone to the armory. You're queuing up to get, a sign. I would say a Frida Leonardson Mornham shirt or something, and then Emma Hayes is in the queue next to you trying to buy some Arsenal red socks because Chelsea bought the wrong socks to the game. That just the whole thing is farcical. I wonder the cashiers or Jonas coming and thought, oh, we could have some. Sorry, Jonas, we're out of stock. No socks. I know, terrible, eh? No socks. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. You're gonna have to go to JD Direct or wherever it is, sports.com and get some knockoff socks there. Absolutely farcical. It can only happen in the WSL. This is the same Arsenal, of course, who rescheduled the game so it couldn't be televised earlier in the season. So yeah, it's a shambles. I think kickoff was 30 minutes. Kickoff got delayed in the end. So of course they said after the thing they didn't blame. Rightly, that this is obviously we didn't lose because of the socks, we didn't lose because of the delays because it impacted everybody, but it just, for me, it just sort of hinted of the shambles that was to follow. It didn't set a positive tone that everything was on cue, on in sync and ready to go. That if the socks are bad and we haven't even started, starters you mean to go on, or in this case don't go on. It sort of hinted at the farce that was about to follow.
No, absolutely. I think what annoyed me more was the fact that they made us pay for the socks, and then we came out with duct tape all over their badges, which I thought, by the way, was brilliant because Katie completely taped up her legs. Because I looked at their socks and I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on? Because obviously in the stands we weren't actually told over anything. We had to go and use Chelsea's free Wi-Fi that they have in the stands to find out what the hell was going on.
Wow. That tape was for sponsorship reasons because their socks are sponsored by a different sponsor to the Arsenal kit manufacturer.
I know that, but it also has the Chelsea badge on it, so I completely understand that. Matt, do you think this was mind games from Chelsea, just like Lauren James not starting for them? I will pat myself on the back for calling that, by the way.
What? I would rather sit and talk about this game that actually was done a year ago today, which is a Bayern Munich away leg, because it was actually more exciting than this game put together.
Even though we lost,
we lost, but it wasn't without spirit. Like, you look at it, I mean, Kumagai goes and clears off the line, and we're thinking, hold on, is there a VAR call? Is it going to get given?
Hit the post.
Yeah, hit the post. It's a much more exciting game, and a lot more happened, and you come away with that and go, right, okay, we'll go back to the Emirates and we'll try and get something out of it, and we did. And you just look back at this game, and it's just the whole thing with the socks. I'm sorry, but I'm not blaming the kit man, because I'm sure the kit man would have turned around and been in conversation with the Chelsea kit man, kit woman, whoever it was, and just be gone, because you have to be prepared for it. And I'm pretty sure, I didn't check, I wasn't busy checking their socks when they came to the Emirates, but I'm pretty sure they wore white socks.
I did actually go back to that game. They had exactly the same white socks, so I don't know what the issue was. I think it was Chelsea being pedantic. If you ask me.
If that is the case, if they're going to moan, I would rather turn around and go, right, okay, we've got no other socks. We're not going out and getting your own. You can go and you can wear your other, I think it's their third kit, blue one, which is just basically the same as their home kit, but just a darker shade. They just made it more problematic than it had to. The fact, I think the stupid rule is, if you're the away side and there is some form of kit clash, you're the ones that have to change. Well, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get a van across London, from one side of London to the other side, in enough time to get you over, to get you to the armory, to get into the club shop, get the socks, come back and get to Stamford Bridge in time. It's not going to happen. I don't know this rule, but they need to look at these sort of things, or they need to make sure that there's a procedure in place, that maybe something along the lines of that they bring up back up. They have to bring, because actually I know a couple of the players will have a couple of spares of socks and things like that anyway to begin with. But I think what will probably happen in the future is that they'll probably bring backups of maybe the third kit socks, because there's going to be plenty of supply, because we're not using them, because we haven't had well, we have, but we haven't used that kit that season for any reason in any of the competitions, and that's the green one. So maybe that's going to be what might happen potentially going into the last couple of away games this season. I know we've got Villa this weekend. We've got City further down the line. City's not going to be a kit clash because they play in blue socks. Villa's going to be a different. Well, we're going to be wearing our Stella McCartney ones, aren't we? So that's not going to be a kit clash.
Conti Cup final.
Conti Cup final. I tell you what, I'd be
we're
tempted
the home. We're technically the home team, so let's just not go
they'll
there.
be the ones that are going to have to change their socks. So the whole thing has become like a bit of a joke. It's like Bay FC not Bay FC. Who was it? Kansas. Not Kansas. The wave. In the NWSL with it's San Diego. San Diego Wave.
Orlando Wave. What am I talking about?
They put a post up on Twitter. Oh yeah, we've got the right socks this week. I was just like, everyone's poking the fun, and it is fun and games, but at the same time, it's just like this shouldn't have been a thing.
It added a level of ridicule to a result that was humiliating enough as it is, and if it wasn't if the sock thing hadn't happened and we just lost that game, I think it would have just been another defeat. But it just amplified it and twisted it into something else. And unfortunately, I just knew this is just going to be a rough week. We're going to have to ride this one and go, yes, ha, socks, yes, I know, very funny, very droll. I agree with you, Matt. I think it would have been much easier for Chelsea to say, well, we'll just wear blue socks. And then there wouldn't have been an issue at all. But I wonder if this kit clashing decision depends. If it's a rule in the FA, and if the officials have spotted this and said no, then that's not my games about Chelsea. That's just the officials, and if they're following the rules of the game, the rules of the game. There we go. I do remember there was, in terms of kit clashing, there was a game at Emirates Stadium in the Champions League where Arsenal had to play their yellow away kit despite being the home team, which every FC Basel, I think it was, we weren't too near, but I always remember thinking, why are we wearing yellow in the Emirates Stadium? I mean, madness, but yeah.
This is the things that I think we're kind of expecting. Say there was going to be a kit clash again. I'm going to go a bit further forward against Villa at the weekend. Who's going to do the right thing? Is it going to be Arsenal or would it be Villa? I think Villa will do the right thing and say, oh, we'll just play in an alternative kit, and you can play in the kit that you've been told you're going to play. I think Chelsea are just very much arrogant in their and set in their ways that they wouldn't have some leeway if.
What I was glad though is that nobody rightly blamed the result on the socks, because I'll never forget when Manchester United tried to blame losing 6-3 to Southampton because their players turned invisible when they wore grey football shirts. I'm sorry, as much we all know that as much as fast as this was, and Lottie's gonna need a while to compose herself after that one, but as much as fast as it was, it did not lead to it was not the reason why we lost, as we will dig into.
No.
Yeah, but I feel it threw us off of the game. Even standing in the stands, I was in the lower end of the stand, and I'd had major problems getting into the ground. Stewards are still ungratefully unhelpful. They're rude. Could have called an medical emergency for a bite, by the way, from taking my inhalers off me because I lost the lid. So it kind of just went all wrong. By the time I got on the ground, I was already absolutely livid with everybody. Like every single steward who walked past, after the first steward had checked it, is still checking your ticket if you can get in. Like, I felt like I was trying to enter somewhere where I shouldn't be. Although I shouldn't be at Stamford Bridge because I hate Stamford Bridge. It's a dump, to put it politely. But it was just, I don't do Chelsea away, and that is why. Time I got into the ground, I was livid. So this whole Sockgate thing wound me up even further, and I was ready for a fight at this point. But hey, let's not go there. So going back to team news, Chelsea starting 11. We're going to start with Chelsea. Hannah Hampton in goal. Perisset, Buchanan, Carter, Charles, Cuthbert, Leupolz, Newskin, Wrighton, Canred, thank you. Wrighton and James. On the bench we had Lawrence, Musovic, Ingle, Kirby, Hamano, Kankovic, and Beaver Jones, as well as Macario. Pretty strong 11.
I mean,
Adam.
we knew that their options were limited in terms that they didn't have Sam Kerr, didn't have Ramirez, didn't have Millie Bright. But Chelsea are not like mugs. They are stacked with talent. You know, you take away X, they have Y. You take away Y, they have Z. They have options and options and options and backups and backups. And yes, some of the players we may have been fearing or worried about weren't in the game, but they had enough talent in there to make a team that can challenge anyone. And I think some of us who maybe got a bit giddy with the idea when Emma Hayes in the press conference saying, well, you know, Frank Kirby might not make it and Sam Kerr's out, obviously, and Ramirez is now out and Bjorn's now out as well. And you're thinking, oh, fantastic. I think, just forget that, you know, they have a lot of talent behind them that can step in. And I think we saw that on the day. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, completely get that. We got like some people got pretty excited, but hey ho, I'm psychic. I knew Lauren James would be starting.
Oh, absolutely, she was always starting. It's the Harry Kane Spurs thing, isn't it? Oh, Kane was a bit. His foot was a bit. It's a bit 50-50. His foot was a bit sore in training.
It's now Haaland and Man City.
Yes,
That's the vibe at the minute, and we've just pulled Saka from the England team, which makes me happy. Rice come home now. Sorry, back to the women's football. Arsenal starting 11: Zinsberger, McCabe, Williamson, Ruben Moy, Catley, Palova, Little, Volti, Mead, Blackstenius, and Ford start. On the bench, we had Fox, Leonardo Mornham, Cooney Cross, Russo, Lacasse, D'Angelo, Bahardi, Cadena, and Katie Reid. Matt, what did you think of the lineup? And was it good to see Katie Reid on the bench?
Yes, it's always good to see England international at youth level and one of our own on the bench. And I think the biggest surprise for me was the fact that Leah Williamson was starting. I just think that you would have thought that she would have been done steadily, getting into the game. She's not. She's more of a medium. She's going to compose herself. She's going to want to gradually get into it. She can't. I don't think at this moment in time that you can deal with a fast-paced and very intense game that both teams would have been playing or expected to play. You look back at the Emirates and think, oh, that game. Did we? In some ways, we missed Leah Williamson. In others, we didn't. But I just felt that it would have been great to give Leah a little bit of a break, maybe bring her on in the 60th minute instead of having her on from the very start. I think it's very rare that Jonas holds his hands up and says that he got it wrong. And to be honest, he has said that, and that's fair enough. I think a lot of people have realised that he got it wrong on the night. I think he was expecting a similar game to what happened at the Emirates, and that's why we set up as we did. But I just worked from the first 10 minutes. It just felt like we were riding a wave, and we weren't really in that game for the first 10 minutes, and that was something that sort of irked me. And it was to say, let's ride this first 10 minutes, and then we'll get into it, because sometimes we are quite slow getting into the game to begin with, but this time we were made to pay for it.
It's one of those games where you watch it like 5 minutes in, you can go, something's wrong here. Something's very wrong here. And I'll be honest, I wasn't able to watch this game. I was indisposed. I've had the misery of watching the first 30 minutes back, having known the result.
You realise this is why we've lost, because you missed the game.
I missed the game. No, I was on a family meal, and the meal was it was a lovely meal. I
do want to do a massive shout out to your sister and wish her a very belated birthday.
Absolutely.
I am sorry, Molly. I am so sorry. Happy birthday from all of us.
It was a lovely meal out, just ruined by my phone alerting me every 5 minutes that Chelsea had scored a goal. Did put
your dad also had the fishing rod out, didn't he?
Yeah, he was as always. Very happy to twist the knife whenever Arsenal lose. Such
is where you get it from.
Absolutely, yes. It's the was it just desserts, isn't it? It's reap what you sow. I think we're going to pick the team wrong. I do. I think there was absolutely right with Leah Williamson, and I think maybe got a bit overexcited because she started against Aston Villa, did all right. It's been about 10 days, rest her around. She could probably play the next game. As we'll get into, she didn't look up to the pace of the game required. That's one of the worst I've seen her play, but I do think there is the caveat of the ACL. I think he should have started like Adina. That being said, Gadina has been a bit jumpy. We think of the Man United game.
Oh,
but I
that
think
first couple of minutes between her and Sabrina in goal.
That's the thing. So, but I think she would have probably been a better pace of the game. As for the attack, I think he picked the wrong striker. I think he either should have picked Frida at 10, had Leah and Kim Little and Leah Velty as a pivot, put Frida as 10 and start seeing her up front, or you start Russo up front and you keep Kim as a 10. I think he got his combinations wrong, and in the second half he brought Frida and Russo on, which, as we know, doesn't work. So he got it wrong in the first half, and then he got it wrong again in the second half, and we just never looked fluent in attack.
Just on Jonas as well, though, Adam, is that he's mentioned that as well, that he's willing to keep going to plan A, whereas you've seen in the Conti Cup, Jonas was pointing out that if Emma's not happy, she'll pull you off. So it was quite funny though in that Conti Cup last season. When we went to a 2-1 up, she went and pulled off like all her right backs to throw on a load of right backs on. So it's just kind of funny that that happens, and sometimes you can tweak too much and you can have the opposite effect. Sometimes if you do too little, the game's already gone. So they have to find that balance.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Matt, because you're absolutely right. I was watching before I went out for the meal, I managed to catch the pre-match talk, and they had an interview with Jonas. He was in the dugout, and they were talking about comparing him and Emma Hayes, and he said, yeah, if Emma Hayes spots something, she will immediately step in. Now, we joke about Emma Hayes, the fact that if she's making a sub after 20 minutes or 45 minutes, you've got the game won, because she's realised she's got the team wrong, and we saw that in the Conti Cup final. I think it was Buchanan who came on. I think it was, and I think it was was it
Writing Ken Reid as well.
Ken Reid came on, I can't remember how you pronounce their name exactly, but one of them came off and Buchanan came on, and she was having to change the defence. She went to back three and all that stuff. And I thought, if Emma Hayes was managing Arsenal, horror thought, I know, but if Emma Hayes was managing that game, after 10 or 20 minutes, she would have subbed Leah Williamson off and she would have put Lycadina on. Or she would have put Lycadina on as an additional centre-back. She would have stepped in immediately. She would have gone, no, Leah Williamson, she's not up to the pace of the game. We need to change it. Or change the forward. And I think it was fascinating to say that Jonas made that admission, because I thought, that's not really an admission of strength if you're willing to persevere with something you know is failing and hope it works. But, you're right. Another sort of hint of what was to come. I think the last time he got a team selection that wrong was probably the Man City away game last season, when he holds his hand and we went back three with Lottie in the middle, and we got wiped out in the first half, and Jonas hands up said, yeah, I got it wrong. And I think it is credit to the manager, Jonas, to say right off the bat, yeah, it's on me. Despite what you may say about the performance, and we'll get into that, he said, no, buck stops me, I'm the manager, because we can think of certain other egotistical managers who think they are above everybody else, who would gladly throw the players under the bus because obviously the manager is perfect and the players let them down. No, I'm the manager, the buck stops with me. But I like to think, if you remember the All or Nothing documentary, when Mikel Arteta goes nuts in the Newcastle dressing room because Arsenal have just chucked the Champions League and away, the qualification away, and he goes at them to basically lay the law down that what you've just done is you've just blown the season. It's all over, and that's on you. I will take the nonsense from the press. I'll take that all for you. But and I hope Jonas did something similar with that team, that they let, as we'll get into, that's on them for me. But I think it's good on Jonas to actually take the bullet in the press, as any manager should.
I think one thing I do appreciate about Jonas is that he'll always own his mistakes, whereas other managers blame whoever. And it's one thing that sort of Emma Hayes does do it, but she'll say stuff. Oh, I've got 20-minute drive home. It was nothing. Yeah. That was early in the season. If you watch the post-match interviews. Just to sum up this game, first half goals from Lauren James, Soki Nuskin
with a brace.
There we go.
Yeah.
I get it out with a brace. 3-goal lead. We threw the league away in 45 minutes. We had a late strike from Kim Little, which was later rewarded to Macario. And we were unable to
Macario has scored now in all three of their games.
She scored for the Arsenal.
I mean, that was the only positive to come from this, because we haven't scored an away goal at Chelsea in the league since 2019, and it took an own goal, and it was an own goal. The shot was going wide. It was a freak deflection. We got a goal, and we didn't deserve it. That was the worst performance I've seen by an Arsenal side for 90 minutes since the FA Cup final against Chelsea. And I thought, the thing is, we all got a bit excited, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, so I do apologise, but I'm going to wind up for this one. But we all got a bit excited the idea that we might win this game because the deck was so stacked in our favour that we had all our players were coming back and they're all fit, and Chelsea's got bodies everywhere. They're all out injured. I'm thinking, have these people not followed our track record? We do not win away at Man City. We do not win away at Chelsea, and we haven't done so since 2018. And before that, we've had caveats thinking, well, Joe Montemurro was in charge, and we weren't very competitive in his games. And well, we've always had players
injured. That kills you, and that's what the reaction is.
Absolutely. And I thought, well, maybe this is the time when the players are fit, and we've got a manager who can actually beat Emma Hayes. He's done it more than once, not just at home. He's done it in cup finals. He can do it, and we've got players who are reasonably on form. We've just battered Aston Villa in the League Cup. We've beaten Spurs. We've beaten Man United at home. We've got a bit of a winning streak going, and the players are coming up fit. And then they turn up at Stamford Bridge, and every single player's level dropped at once. Everybody. And I'm sorry, it's absolutely unacceptable. I don't know if they didn't believe they could win, but it's not so much that just the basic errors. I've done a thread on Twitter, and it's just a list, just the mistakes I saw for the goals because I was watching it. I'm not a tactical expert. Okay,
hold on to that for a few minutes, please.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I will pause my rant and hand over to you, Lottie.
On the way it's all been set up, though, is that we need to make sure we go away to these places. I mean, we've got City coming up away. Well, on the last games of the season, not as Sky Sports said, it's the last game of the season. People know who you're playing, or make sure that you actually check the lists, not actually just go off of something that goes, oh, here's your next couple of fixtures. But yeah, we've got to go. And now you look at that game, and you've got to think, well, we've got to go away. We've got to make sure we go and get 3 points now because we have to. And Adam, you've got the stats there, haven't you? That we haven't gotten anything away from Man City since Jordan Nobbs scored that.
Well, we got a draw. We got a draw when Tobin Heath scraped a late
winner.
But I mean,
a draw's not going to be enough, is it?
Because that was the Spring Series. So Spring Series 2017, Nobbs smacked him in the top corner from 30 yards from a free kick. I think it's Pedro Martinez, when he was Arsenal manager, the last Arsenal manager to win away at Chelsea and away at Man City in the league. Different seasons. No manager has done that since.
He's still done it. That's the point.
This is what we need to do essentially, is that we need to make sure that we go away to these places and we actually either get a point or we get 3 points, because it's not. So if we want to be champions, it's games like that. Not you can have the odd game against West Ham where you lose 2-1, but this season we've lost games where we were expected to go there and get the points, and the problem
there's too many first times that have happened this season.
But I suppose it's better that it's been done now than say later on down the line, because a lot of people are talking about Jonas not being there this summer. Your friend from America, Adam Demian has been saying that he wants the Lyon manager. Well, the Lyon manager might be going to Chelsea. There's arguments that the Chelsea that she's not actually that good and that she can't manage these players. I don't think.
Right, here and now, I was saving this question for later. Jonas in or Jonas out? That's all you've got to answer.
In.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. Otherwise, we're going to get into some arguments here. I just feel like it's too soon for calling him out, personally. Especially what we've achieved so far and what he's been building. I don't want to let that go yet. But obviously, you guys have been around in the fan base longer than I have, so you'd have a better insight than I would.
So the problem is the manager out is always the knee-jerk reaction when there's defeat. Anytime it's bad, it's the manager's wrong. It infuriates me because there are so many more levels to a defeat than just it's the manager. And that's one of the reasons why when we've lost away at Spurs and West Ham and at home Liverpool, they sucked. It really, sucked. But I was relatively placid on it. I was relatively calm on it because defeats happen for many reasons. And, you can have dominant games and then you get sucker punched on the counter like Spurs. It happens. There are lots of caveats around the Jonas Eidevall reign with the injuries we've had, and we've won a trophy. We went very close in the league. We went very close to a Champions League. We were only a minute away from penalties and a shootout for the final. Not saying we were going to win the Champions League, but we would have got to a final. I just think this season has been a bit of a backward step compared to those previous two. We can be honest about it. Again, there are a lot of issues with the squad in terms of its size, in terms of its imbalance, in terms of trying to get that sorted. The fact there's been no Europe.
If you think about it, though, over the last seasons that Jonas has been in, every season he's had a final. So if you think about that, sooner or later.
Okay. I mean, in fairness, he pinched a final from the previous season. I mean, slight
still counts.
I know.
It still counts,
but let's not talk about that one. Can we? That one doesn't exist. Can we move on? Yeah. Sorry.
Every final has been against Chelsea. He hasn't had like an Everton or like, I don't know, a Liverpool in the final or even Man City. It's always been Chelsea, and now it's going to be Chelsea again. You can't catch a break.
But look at it this way: would another manager have come in and been able to get that consistency? Because sooner or later, that consistency rubs off, and it will rub off in the league. Yeah. I was kind of hoping this season was going to be the season, but I think if anything, next season is going to probably be the one that's going to be it's going to be last chance saloon for him. If I'm honest, I have a feeling that
it might be.
Come the end of the year, I'm hoping I'm not sitting here and thinking, well, Jonas is going now because of bad results or because of X, Y, Z. I just hope he's still there. It's just been a bit of a shame that this season it hasn't come to fruition and other teams have taken advantage of that.
The only way he goes now is if he misses out on Europe. If he doesn't get third place, if he drops to fourth place and we get no trophies, I could see him being sacked. He signed a contract extension late last year, so he's got another few years in the tank. So Arsenal are in, and that was when we just lost to Liverpool and we were just been knocked out of the Champions League. So the club have faith behind him. The way you hear him speak at press conferences and talk about football, he knows his onions. He knows football and he understands the growth of the game. So he's not a mug. He's not a bluffer like there are with certain other managers in the league. And he's got Arsenal, he's won silverware and done good things. But I just think this season has been a bit of a backward step in the league, certainly. I think it has, I think that the recovery from the ACLs, I think, has taken longer than maybe we'd hoped. And the impact combined with the new players, the squad is badly overstaffed. And I think there will have to be some departures in the summer. Some we don't like. I think Jonas next season will have to be the one. I think maybe that's slightly unfair. I think of Mikel Arteta. He won the FA Cup. And I think when he won the FA Cup in his first, and that was in the half season, we got big excited going to next season. Next season was one of the worst Arsenal seasons we've ever witnessed. I wonder if maybe that's going to be the same with us winning the Conti Cup, thinking, oh, great, we're going to go on to more trophies. And then this sort of season's happened.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, if this does happen, we know who to point at because he said it yet again, and he's on that side of the screen to me. He probably isn't on the YouTube side because I don't know where he's sitting. Because where Matt's just pointed, he's pointed at me on my screen.
Yes, I am jinxing Arsenal again. Doom, misery, 8th place finishes. The end is upon us.
Back to the game. 15 minutes in, Lauren James hammers Chelsea into the lead. Wrighton won the ball just on the inside of the Arsenal half, allowed Nuskin to sweep it an excellent pass across the field to James. She moved into the area, slowed down, veered it on the outside of Steph Catley before battering the shot back across the goal. The diving Zinsberger dives towards to get a good hand to the ball, but there's too much spin on it. Looped in the air and spinning despite her attempt to clear it. Goalkeepers union. The consensus on the commentary when I watched the game back was that Manu Zinsberger should have done better. From where I was standing, I wouldn't disagree. I think it was a bit unfortunate with the spin on the ball, but Lauren James did well in from where I was standing in the away end. This was obviously the other end of the pitch. Thoughts, Goalkeepers Union?
It's one of those where I wouldn't say it's ball physics, but it's just the way that the ball is spun, and as it's spun, the ball's just basically just bounced off the hands, and if it bounces off a place, it's going to go up. Yeah. And it's just a case of if you think about it, if it was on another day, it might have actually just looped over and hit the crossbar and gone out for a corner. But this time it's just one of those unfortunate ones, and at this moment in time, you're just thinking you can't do as much. But what I actually really enjoyed about that is that we both had Lottie and Leah realizing that we've got to make sure that it stays out of the back of the net, and they were seconds away from getting it across out of the way, and it wouldn't, and it wouldn't have gone in. It would have been cleared off the line, and then that, I think that would have been the wake up call. Then, had it have either hit the crossbar or had it have been hooked away by either Leia or Lotta. But Manu's done the best that she can in that situation. It's difficult when those sort of things happen because you don't know where you're going to be, and if you're coming off your line that quickly, you've got to make sure that you do the right thing. Sometimes it goes against you, sometimes it goes with for you, and in that situation it just didn't come with that. What probably didn't help was the fact that afterwards there was a load of abuse aimed at her as well. But it's hard being a goalkeeper. If before you tweet or anything like that, just put yourself in their shoes. Do you think you could save a shot that's probably going about 70-80 miles per hour, and you've got a pair of gloves that could be as thin as paper? Do you know? I don't think you'd do a better job than Manu did there.
For me, the fault isn't with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the last line of defence. The fault is that the opportunity came in the first place, and it shouldn't have done. And there's so, I mean, this is what we were referring to earlier. We're watching the game back, and I'm watching it. If you watch our back line, we don't have a back line. We have a back box. That can't be right. It can't be right. So what Arsenal have done is that McCabe likes to bomb forward. As we know, she's a very attacking fullback. She's operating as the inverted right back, which makes sense because she did that against Lauren James at Emirates Stadium and it worked wonders. We had Emily Fox on the bench, and we actually all thought that Emily, well, I didn't, but you all thought Emily Fox was going to start. I can't remember. I may have said the same.
Yeah, I think I opted for McCabe to start because you can't have a team against Chelsea without Katie.
Yeah,
I think the plan would have been for Katie to play further forwards in that left wing, Chloe then play on the right, and then I can't remember if we said Stina or Alessia. Anyway.
Oh wait, we played the same fullbacks we played against Chelsea. The only difference in the defence was that Leia was in and Amanda, obviously, who is unavailable and wish all the best. Leia Williamson was in instead. Now look at that on the front. Look at the team sheet. Think great back line. I've got full confidence in that. Problem is our fullbacks got roasted in this one. Steph and McCabe had probably their worst games for Arsenal this season, and unacceptable considering how long they've been at the club and also playing together. Team chemistry exists there, so we can't blame miscommunication. So McCabe has bombed on. She's gone to joining the attack. Leah Williamson has shifted over to cover. She's hugging the touchline. I think for me, she's too close to touchline. There might have been a throw, and I can't remember all the ball was played back to her. Lotta has shifted over to central. You now have a gaping hole in your left wing because Steph Catley has to move back. If you think back to the men's football, when Tierney used to bomb forward, Xhaka would drop into left back. Or when Zinchenko goes into the midfield, the defence would shift along and Ben White would drop in to become like a third centre back. You'd have a back three with Zinchenko in the midfield. You have to compensate when the players go forward. So McCabe's bombed on. Leah's moved over to right. Lotta's moved to central. Steph Catley is beyond the halfway line on the left wing. She's gone. You've got two fullbacks who have gone beyond the halfway line. Imagine Unai Emery's Arsenal when you had Monreal and Bellerin both attacking at the same time, and you just had oceans of space for the opposition to counter upon. Yeah, Lottie's horror. Exactly. And that's what happened. So you had McCabe and Steph gone beyond the halfway line. You've got Lotta in the middle of the pitch. You've got Steph in the right back slot. Leah plays a rubbish pass to Palova. I think Wrighton steps in and pinches the ball. And so Lauren James has got the whole of the Stamford Bridge to race through. There is just no defence there. Credit to Lotta and Steph. They do try and race back, but Lauren James, one of the best wingers in the WSL, as we know, tricks past them. Steph tries to make the block, doesn't get there. Lauren James smashes at a goal. Manu's trying to make the save. She makes contact, trying to tip it over, gets unlucky, but the goal is warranted. Arsenal deserve to be punished for the defensive ineptitude they exhibited. And that isn't, that's only the first goal. The second goal for me is we'll get to. I'll just say the second. You thought that was bad. Just wait till we get onto the second goal. It is littered with the basic doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, no, probably my description wouldn't do it justice. To me, it looked offside. Let's just put this out there now.
It's not.
On first viewing, I thought it was offside.
Can I get my words out? What is it with you tonight? Hold your bloody horses. I know I made you wait because I've been ill, but hold your horses, man. Sorry, everybody.
Go on.
Newskins double Chelsea's lead. Lauren James is playing absolutely sensational false nine. That night, I will say that I do admire her as a footballer when she's not got a Chelsea shirt on. Start the move, dropping deep, turning. I think it was either Palova or Leah Volti.
Volti.
Yeah, Volti with ease. Surging pace. She waved a nonchalant pass out to Wrighton, who crosses it left down by Wrighton Kinrid at the far post. She had the ball off Cuthbert again, who hit the shot from 25 yards out. And then definitely turned into the net by Newskin. I mean, Adam, where did we go wrong?
Right. Okay.
Was it offside? Because it looked offside from where I was sitting. I have watched this back, and I know it's not. But
it looks offside, and Lear is pleading to the linesman for offside. And when a defender is pleading for offside, it's because you know you've made a massive error, and you're hoping the official's going to bail you out. Her standing foot is playing Newskin onside. But that's not the worst of it. So we all know the Arsenal way of playing. It's high press, high energy, high turnovers, engage the opposition. For about 3 to 5 minutes, Chelsea have the ball and they just knock it from front to back to front to back to front to back, and the Arsenal team just sit deep and do nothing. They don't engage, they don't press, they show no intensity, and I think the first goal just rocked them. And there was no response. And then eventually the ball comes to Lauren James on the halfway line. She spins Leah Velti. Leah Velti offers no resistance. I don't know. I think she tries to grab her shirt. I think she has to be close. She has to be more aware. Gets brushed past far too easily. Suddenly, Lauren James is charging through the Arsenal midfield. Now, Arsenal have two players. They've got Victoria Palova and Caitlin Ford, who are both either side in position to swarm in on her and cut the danger out. Palova makes the move to close down Lauren James while she's in full flight. Caitlin Ford abandons ship and just runs towards the corner flag. Watch it back. She does not engage Lauren James. She runs away from her. By the time Palova gets there, Lauren James pings it over to the wing. Now, the next worst thing happened is ball watching. Steph Catley and Katie McCabe in the fullback areas are watching Lauren James storm at their defence. They are not looking behind them. They're not seeing that Guro Wrighton is running behind Katie McCabe, and they're not seeing that Wrighton Cannery is running behind Steph Catley. It's even worse when you look at Steph Catley, because Steph Catley is looking down the wing. She turns away from Wrighton Cannery to watch Lauren James, and so literally Wrighton Cannery, like a child, like a hide and seek party, is sneaking behind Steph Catley on the overlap. It's watch it back, it's bonkers. So Steph Catley and McCabe are both looking infield, watching Lauren James run for defence. Wrighton overlaps Katie McCabe on the blind side. Lauren James gets into the box, looks up, and Guro Wrighton is waving her arms in the air, saying, "I'm free." Look at Katie McCabe. She's running to the box to chase Nuskin, despite the fact that that's Leah Williamson's job. We'll get to Leah Williamson in a minute. Katie McCabe's running to the box. Guro Wrighton is now free on the wing to whip across it. So Lauren James pings it over to her. Now, at this point, Arsenal have actually got their defence in place. They've got 6 defenders in place. They've outnumbered the Chelsea. Chelsea got about 3 forwards in the box. So they've got the numbers. They can defend this. Wrighton's cross, firstly, is uncontested. That's not good enough. You have to get defender to close her down to stop the cross. The cross comes in. It's landing towards Steph and Caitlin Ford. Now, neither Steph nor Caitlin Ford know that Wrighton Canada is behind them because they've not looked over their shoulder. They've just been watching the ball move about the pitch in their own half. Neither of them then engage the ball when it comes in. They both stand there watching the ball land between them. Wrighton Canada then goes, "Oh, thank you very much. Not going to touch the ball. I'll take it off you. Thank you very much." Runs between them, chests the ball, takes it off her, knocks the edge of the box, comes to Cuthbert. Now, at this point, Arsenal players should be streaming out of the box to close Cuthbert down to prevent the shot. Shot on the edge of the box, you charge them down. It's like rugby. They're going to kick the ball, you charge it down. Nobody charged down. Everybody holds the line in the box. Cuthbert goes, "Well, I'll have a crack from 25 yards. Thank you very much." How's it go? Ball could go anywhere. Goes to Nuskin's feet. Now, Leah Williamson is on Nuskin. She is touch tight. She has to step in and make a challenge, intercept, I don't know. Does nothing. Just stands there next to Nuskin, and just Nuskin goes, "Oh, the ball's there. I'll just kick it in the net." And then Leah goes, "Oh yeah, I should have done something. Was it offside?" No, it wasn't offside, Leah Williamson. I'm sorry. Just the amount we have a saying in the railway called it's called the Swiss cheese model, and the idea is that when a failure happens, it happens because so many sort of moments have happened. And they've all, they're like slices of Swiss cheese. And if the holes all align in the Swiss cheese layers, then a goal happens in this case. so many failure. There were so many moments in that move that Arsenal could have stepped in. They could have made the challenge. Even like when Lauren James is coming through, just foul her. Just take the booking. She's charging through. You can get back and organise a set piece. And this is what I mean about levels. I have not seen Arsenal defend this shambolically since when we paired Lottie with Moy and Yembita together in the central defence, or any time Joe Montemurro came up against Emma Hayes, especially away from home. Just these are international players. Steph Catley's vice captain for Australia. Katie McCabe is the captain of the Republic of Ireland. Leah Williamson, as the press keep misattributing to us, is the captain of the Lionesses. They are experienced, knowledgeable defenders. The only defender in that back four that comes out of any credit for me is Lottie Wibbermoy on the night. For me, she was a shining beacon of decency against Fried. I know Leah Williamson is still come back from her ACL, so I'm giving her half a pass. But for me, Katie McCabe and Steph Catley should know better and should perform better. We know Katie McCabe can play well at inverted right back because she did well against Chelsea early in the season. Obviously, Emma Hayes did a little tactical tweak, I think, flipped Lauren James over to the other wing. So rather than have her inverting, she had her running down. And I think she absolutely roasted Steph Catley on the night. Steph Catley will be seeing Lauren James in her nightmares. It's so important to watch. And it's one of those ones, the more I watch that goal back, the more I spotted things wrong with it. I'm thinking, these are professional footballers. There are basics here. You always look over your shoulder. Don't ball watch when the crosses come in. Keep an eye on your players. Keep an eye on who you're marking. Keep an eye on the opposition. No, they just got a box of popcorn and just watched Chelsea play the ball around it. I could not believe that this was Arsenal. This could have been like Watford. This could have been like any team in the Championship, and they might have had a bit of sympathy for them, but not Arsenal. They've never done this season. As bad as we've been in, let's say, in West Ham and Spurs and Liverpool. Yes, I know they're playing low blocks and all that, but I've never seen them be this poor out of possession, because that's what we've been really good under Jonas for once. Under Joe, we weren't. We were rubbish, but that's been our strength. To see that go, and to see that go with the players who have been playing under Jonas for pretty much his entirety, I don't get angry watching Arsenal, even when we lose. I really don't get angry. Even when we lose, I try and be calm and think, well, these things happen. There are reasons. This is one of the first games ever I've actually watching this game and genuinely was angry about what these players were doing, because it was unacceptable.
Sounds like you've got Lottie angry. Because when we lose, you guys don't hear from me for a few days. I mean, it took until Mondays for me to talk to you guys. I just couldn't do it. So in our WhatsApp group. Matt, anything to add to that, or shall I move on to the third and final bloke that ended our title race?
I've been saying this for so long. The fact that you one of my pet peeves in women's football has always been that someone will always have a free shot. So you go back to like the North London derby where Viv plays Beth in, and Beth's got an open shot from inside the box and no one's closed her down, and then further down along the lines, you go to another North London derby. Caitlin Ford has all the time in the world. She basically chips the goalkeeper just from inside the box, and it does frustrate me that I don't know if it's because of how they're taught from early age. But one of the first things that I always remember, especially being now when I'm in goal, is if you're allowing someone to shoot from long range, you're doing something wrong. You need to close that down instantly. They should. One of my pet peeves is if my defender is sitting in my way and they've got an option of going to and either trying to try and win that ball back, or to at least get a block off. I'd rather that go out for a corner than have the opportunity of I can't see the ball because it's gone in the top bins because I can't see it, and you've done the defender's done nothing. So I've
had a few batterings as a right back about that, but sometimes it was about just knowing who your opposition is and what to expect. About 95% of the time I got it right, so my keeper's got a bit huffy for no reason, so to speak, and I know she listens to this, she's going to get me later, so I'm sorry, not sorry.
Just on Nuskin, if I'm honest, she's in the wrong place at the right time. Because and that's not just this
right
one.
place, right time if you're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, but essentially she's just the last player coming back, and she just runs into the ball, and it just goes in. Nothing Manu can do about it, because again, there's no way you can dive to that in enough time. So she's just standing there as if to say, "What the hell have I just witnessed?" And I don't blame her. But it did feel like that for both Nuskin's goal, if I'm honest, because she was in the for Chelsea, right place, wrong time, right time. For us, wrong place in the wrong time, and it was just absolutely terrible all round. It's up there as one of the worst defending performances I've seen in a while.
Yeah, no, completely agreed. Come half time.
We're not going to do the third goal. We're not even going to. Because
I'll go back to it.
Go on.
Let Adam have his
I will
say.
finish this off, because this is this is the icing on the cherry, the top of the cake.
Go for it, because you literally regurgitated what I said anyway. So I'll give you the floor, mate.
I've got to do this because Arsenal are chasing the game now. We're 2-0 down. I think we've got to get a goal back before half time if we're going to have any chances of getting from this. We win a free kick on the halfway line. We push everyone forward. Right. Get that ball in the box. It's pretty simple. That's what the whole team have planned to. Get the ball in the box. Players are in there. Stina's good in the air. We can get a knockdown, build something. Leah Winston says, no, I'm going to do a 45 switch across the halfway line. Why? Why are you doing that? Anyway, Leah Volti is not prepared for it, because, like everybody else in the stadium, is thinking the ball was going into the Chelsea box. So she's caught out by it. I think it's Gura Wrighton or Wrighton Canrid, I think, who notices it, has the awareness to spot it. Wrighton Canrid, thank you. Has the presence of mind and the alertness to spot it and pinch the ball. Suddenly, it's a 3v2 counter. So unlike the Liverpool men's team, they know how to convert out over numerous break opportunities. Wrighton Canrid
absolutely exposed through this.
Yeah.
Poor Lottie got caught up in the process.
Absolutely. Well, this is you watching it. When I'm watching, thinking, well, the goal is inevitable. It's just about if they can execute it. Wrighton Canrid runs at the defence. Credit to Lottie with a Moy. Slows Wrighting up. McCabe and Volti are running back. We're getting players into position. This moment can be saved. So Wrighting goes, oh no, I'll just have a pot shot. And Leah Williamson and Nuskin, she had a brilliant game. I mean, she became the emergency striker for Chelsea, and maybe this is how they're going to get through the season with having her as a forward, because Leah Williamson simply couldn't deal with her, and this was probably the worst mistake of the night. Leah Williamson follows Nuskin in the box. She's marking her. She's touch tight, mate, and then she runs away from her. She turns around and moves away from Nuskin and abandons her in the box. So she is on her own. Now, the ball comedically deflects off her backside, okay? And it just summed up Arsenal's day that's how the third goal went in. But it's like, I was watching it, it's like, where's she going? It's like Kaylee Ford on the second goal. Where's Leah going? And she turns around. It's like she loses her. And then it's like, oh. And then that was it. And goal started with Leah Williamson area, ended with Leah Williamson area, and I felt so sorry for her. That's the first 90 minutes she's played since her ACL, and she was in tears at full time, and that was really bad to see. And I think it is the worst game she's had for Arsenal, and I do have a lot of sympathy because of the injuries but yeah, she should have been taken off the pitch much earlier. Maybe even at half time. Just say it's not your night, Leah. Get off the pitch. We'll put Kadina on for the second half. Just the basic errors. I mean, I said it in the second goal, and this just rounded it off. I couldn't bring myself to watch the rest of the game. I think I watched the rest of the game on fast forward because I thought there's no difference. The only difference was that Manuela Zinsberger had a brilliant game in the second half, massively atoned for the one mistake she made. Should have been 4-1. Could have been a 4-1 like it was for Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium if it wasn't for her, in fairness. And then when we did get the goal, it was it was a fluke.
And that is the end of the show. We were only meant to be talking about the third goal, but hey ho, Adam's wrapped it up nicely without me and Matt getting an edge word in edgewise. My half time, 3-8. Well, we're definitely out of the title race.
Yeah.
At Stamford Bridge, I was sitting there thinking, do I go home? And then I remembered I don't leave Arsenal games, even when it's really, really bad. I've never walked out.
Absolutely.
Even in the dark days of 8-2 to Man United, I've still
hang on.
stayed.
You were at Old Trafford for 8-2. My heart goes out to you.
Didn't leave.
No,
I've never walked out to the final whistle.
Same. Never will.
Never will.
Never will.
So
I've
I
only had to do that
endured
once, and
that game.
was Europa League, but we'll go off of that.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, no, but I've got to say at half time, I've got to say the rows in front of me on my side of the lower tier did empty out a bit. So people going home. I think what really annoyed me was the guy sitting behind me singing the Arsenal men's songs when we were singing women's songs. I'm hearing Santi Cazorla when we were meant to be singing Manu Zinsberger. So yeah, I was not impressed with him, although he probably wasn't impressed with the football like I was, to be fair. Chelsea were outstanding.
Yeah,
they ignored their injuries. They had an intelligent and defiant, to say the least, performance.
Yeah, they deserved it. And it should have been more.
It was game over then, wasn't it? Really, guys.
The only thing I could be proud of the night is the away support. And watching the game back, certainly at the beginning, but I could loudly hear our chants on the TV. The 6,000 allocation sold out, and it was great to hear Arsenal fans hearing loud at Stamford Bridge, Arsenal fans cheering the team on. And for me, the goal at the end, it was a fluke, defect or whatever. I think that is reward for those who stuck by the team to the very end, because we didn't deserve a goal, but the fans that came did. It actually reminded me of the Man United game at Emirates Stadium when Man United got the consolation at the end. Got the tap at the end, and it was roles reversed from that when Man United had just a horrific first 45 minutes. I was grateful I didn't have to watch that game. I was grateful that I was able to enjoy a lovely evening with my family, and then just only have to enjoy about 20. I think it was like 17 minutes or something. They scored all the goals in a 17-minute spell.
Yep. From the 15th to the 32nd.
That's all I had to endure. And that means now that Arsenal have, that's the last Chelsea game in the league we have to suffer under the Emma Hayes tenure. But there is one.
I think the one thing I do like about it is she's never won at the Emirates. We haven't won away in a few years.
Yes, it's all even.
Par.
There's one crumb of comfort, and that's last season we lost away at Chelsea in the FA Cup. But then I think a week or 2 weeks later, you beat them in the Conti Cup. And in 2 weeks'
and what
time,
did I say in the last pod, Adam?
And in 2 weeks' time, we're going to play Chelsea in the Conti Cup at Molineux.
Matt, can you remember what I said on the last pod? I'd
something
rather
about
drop the points and lose the league than go on to win the Conti Cup like last season.
Absolutely. And that was my feeling, because I didn't think we'd win all 3 games. We haven't. So.
Yeah, no, it's not possible. No. It's not possible with that amount of time at all. So half-time, we did see Emily Fox, Frida Leonardson-Mornham and Alessia Russo come on for Steph Catley, Victoria Palova and Stina Blackstenius. It did mean Kate McCabe moved over to left-back with Emily Fox on. Goalkeepers Union, how was Manu Zinsberg's performance in that second half?
I think, to be honest, she probably took a lot of flack in that 15 minutes half-time team talk. And to be fair, when Manu gets angry, I've never seen her fly off the handle like she did away to Bonham City. Basically, she stormed off after 9 minutes. She didn't even recognise the fans. She was fed up. She was so annoyed about that. But that's the sort of energy that I got from her throughout that second half when she was making save after save. And people keep on thinking that there are better goalkeepers out there. Yes, of course there is. There is potentially one at Manchester United that might be free come the summer. But Manu's going to be better longevity. Mary Earps is only going to give you potentially 2 years. Manu's going to give you 4.
Yeah.
When it comes to goalkeeping, and she did really well to pick herself up and just go, right, nothing is going through me again this game. And if I'm honest, if I look at the subs and you think about it, I think realistically Emily Fox should have been starting.
Yeah.
First and foremost, no offense to Katie or Steph. I think it most likely would have been Steph that would have been on the bench. I don't know if it was down to the fact that she'd just been flying back because she had played on the Monday. But still, I think Emily would have been more in tune with the game, and it would have. I don't think a lot of those mistakes that were made, as Adam has mentioned, would have happened. I think Frida should, if Stina starts, Frida should have been starting as well, if I'm honest, because that's where the goals and assists have come from this season, when both of them have been playing.
If both of them on, one's scoring and one's getting the assist, it's that Norwegian Swedish magic.
Scandinavian spells, yes. Can I just ask you on this one, Matt? Do you think he started Stina because she's got a hat-trick against Aston Villa?
I think it was more to see what would happen I think he was looking more towards the Conti Cup, like what would happen if I put Stina in with Vic and with Kim and Leah in that midfield, especially those. But I think he was thinking more about in 2 weeks' time. I think now he knows.
Overall.
Yeah, I think now he knows Stina needs to be playing with Frida, because Frida didn't look exactly like she has it done in the Conti Cup, because she wasn't feeding Stina, she was feeding Alessia. Alessia doesn't know how to play with Frida. It's really difficult as well, because Frida has not been the same Frida from last season. She's sort of disappeared.
But is this because we're not starting Stina as much? That's what I mean. Is she not the same Frida because we're not playing Stina in every game? So that's when we are seeing Frida and Stina together, it's the Frida of last season.
Absolutely hitting the nail on the head there.
It could be that, but it could also be the case that because Alessia is new to the team and she doesn't play with, she's had limited minutes with Alessia, she doesn't know how she's going to move. So she might be expecting Stina to be running through on goal, whereas Alessia is somewhere on the left wing, and all of a sudden there's no one in the box, which again is a bit of a struggle, but that will come with time, as you've mentioned before, Adam. It's just one of those.
I was going to say, unfortunately, time-wise, we don't have much time left this season to.
So again, which kind of makes me reassess this season. Might be a case of let's get Champions League football, and we'll try again next season. It would have been a bit ironic this season. Should we have gone on to actually mount a serious challenge and say it goes down to the last day of the season between us, City, and Chelsea, for example, to win the title? Had we have gone top, there would have been a chance that potentially we might not even have got that automatic Champions League spot, which would have been the biggest frustration of them all.
And it was just because we needed Chelsea to do well in Europe to keep our coefficient up.
Yes.
No, it feels dirty backing Chelsea in Europe, doesn't it?
Well, Ajax can hold their heads up quite high. I mean, they get a goal back, so.
Well, hopefully they
can. You never know what will happen at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
Tuesday, Wednesday, it's next week.
I think it's Tuesday next week. They'll be playing while we're podding, I think. 86 minutes. Goal for the Arsenal. Yay!
I know.
But McCabe corner from the right. Shush. I'm getting really annoyed with you now. McCabe from the right corner is cleared to the edge of the area. Kimmy Little rifles the first time shot, takes deflection off Macario, flashes it past Hampton. It's been credited to Little, but it's obviously deflected off Macario, which was changed. Matt, thoughts on our constellation goal, even though it was a no.
It was going in. As soon as it left her boot, it was going in. It was one of those where you just think, you know what, Kim, go and have a go, and she absolutely bastard it. It doesn't matter if Macario nicks her back or whatever. It's going in. I don't think Hannah Hampton would have actually had any chance. We're gonna have to say congrats to Hannah Hampton. She's actually done super well considering the fact that she was number 3 at the start of the year, start of the season even. But now she's the number 1 for Chelsea. Yeah. And I thought that was going to change as well. I thought Musovic was going to be in goal for that one, but I imagine that come the final, we're going to see Hannah Hampton in goal again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Berger played in the final if she's fit. If she's fit, I think she might change the keeper. So remember, she did Musovic in the league, and then she did Berger in the final. So don't be surprised. Maybe Musovic will start. Hannah Hampton's been brilliant for Chelsea this year, and let's credit where credit's due. She's a young keeper, but she is. I think we're seeing Chelsea transition away from Berger, and maybe towards Hampton, go from a youthful keeper, and I think that is a really good move by Chelsea. Fair play to them. The goal, when a goal alert came up when I was having my my dessert, I thought, oh no, it's 86 minutes. If it'd been 20 minutes sooner, maybe we could have done something. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a goal, fair enough. It's a goal at Stamford Bridge for us. Well done, but it's nothing. It's meaningless. All it does is impact their goal difference slightly.
At least it's some form of damage to their goal difference.
I
It's
know.
done some damage, but it's better than
themselves.
no damage. Let's put it
Oh,
that way.
absolutely. I mean, their goal difference is horrific as always.
Cancel the goal and scored against us at the Emirates Stadium.
As much as I have enjoyed picking this game apart, making my eyes bleed. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. You can find us at VAW Pod. It's usually one of us running the account. Matt, where can everyone find you?
You can
on
find
social
me
media.
on Twitter at MattLR28.
Adam?
You can find my insane ramblings and rants about the Arsenal and some other more nicer stuff as well at Adam Salter 4.
And if you want to follow my madness and see all my photos from Chelsea away, it's on Twitter and Instagram. It's Lottie AWFC, and we'll be back very soon with our Villa preview. I believe Adam may or may not have an extra voice with us tomorrow.
We shall have to wait and see.
But we'll see. We shall see. For now, come on, you Gunners, and we'll see you soon.